Hello, my name is Adam Hazim bin Muhammad Razali and I'm from RAP 12001A.
My name is Samantha Chin and my metric ID is 20228965.
Hello, my name is Muhammad Aidil Hakim. We are from Group AP 12001A.
What is context clues? Context clues is piece of information in the text that help readers understand words and details. For example, we use ideas. I for inference, T for definition, E for explanation, A for antonym, and S for synonym.
Chapter 4, Newton's Law of Motion. The sentence static fiction obsesses the impending relative motion between two objects. Impending. Contextual definition, something that is about to happen between two objects. Function, an adjective as threatening of significance about to happen. Example, the author had returned to his country ahead of the impending war. Definition, impending is something that is pending or like to occur.
Second word is initially. An object of mass m initially at 5 meters above the ground is released from rest. Contextual definition, to show the first distance of the object. Function, an adverb to show something at the beginning or at first. Example, Aidil initially wanted to go to medical school. Antonym for initially is finally or at the end.
Chapter 4, Newton's Laws of Motion. So there's given sentence, a motorcyclist is trying to leap across the canyon by driving horizontally off a cliff. So what is contextual definition of horizontally? The contextual definition of horizontally is to show the direction of an object. So the function is an adverb to show a position of something. So for the example, all objects on map are required to be shown as projected horizontally upon a plant. So what approach use? The definition is horizontally is a position or a direction. Chapter 5, Static Equilibrium. At the sentence, an object at rest is said to be in static equilibrium when all the forces which actually upon the object are balanced. So what is contextual definition of equilibrium? The contextual definition of equilibrium is to show the balance of an object. So the function is a noun to show the state of an object. So for the example, supply and demand were in equilibrium. So what approach used? Antonym is imbalance and unbalanced.
Chapter 6, Hydrostatic. Suppose that input piston has a negligible weight and the bottom surface of the piston and plunger are at the same level. Negligible. Contextual definition, to show an unimportant thing. Function, an adjective to tell something that not worth to be considering. Example, the price difference was negligible. Antonym, considerable or important.
The next word is collision, the amount of kinetic energy lost after collision. Contextual definition, an encounter between particles. Function, to show an encounter between particles. Example, the car was destroyed in the collision. Synonym for collision is bump or crash.
Chapter 4, Newton's Laws of Motion. So the sentence is, an 1,800 kilogram car stopped at a traffic light is struck from rear by a 900 kilogram car and to become entangled. So what is contextual definition of entangled? The contextual definition of entangled is objects are twisted together. So the function is verb to show two things that involve in a troublesome situation. So for the example, fish attempt to swim through the mesh and become entangled. So what approach use? The definition is wrap or twist together. Chapter 4, Newton's laws of motion. So the sentence is a spring has spring stiffness constant of 414 nanometer. So what is contextual definition of stiffness? The contextual definition of stiffness is inability to move easily. The function is a noun to show an object that is impeded in movement. For the example, beat the egg whites until they are stiff. So what approach use? Flexible. Chapter 7, Reflection. The sentence is none of the rays are actually emanate from the image. So what is contextual definition of emanate? The contextual definition of emanate is to come out from a source. So the function is a verb to show something are released from an object. So for example, happiness seems to emanate from her. So what approach use? Synonym is discharge, give out, or in or evolve.
Chapter 9, Simple harmonic motion and wave motion. The sentence, the amplitude A is the maximum excursion of particle of the medium from the particle undisturbed position. Excursion. Contextual definition, a short journey. Function, a noun to show an expedition. Example, they went on a brief excursion to the coast. Definition, a movement outward and back.
Chapter 10, Wave Optics. The sentence is coherent light from natrium vapor lamp is passes through a filter that blocks everything except for lights of single wavelength. So what is contextual definition of coherent? The contextual definition of coherent is logical and consistent. The function is an adjective to show the truth of something. For the example, they fail to develop a coherent economic. So what approach used? The definition is logically or aesthetically ordered. Chapter 9, Simple harmonic motion and wave motion. So the sentence is the direction of propagation of the wave. So what is contextual definition of propagation? The contextual definition of propagation is enlargement or extension. The function is a noun to show something that is expanded. The example is a life devoted to the propagation of the Catholic faith. So what approach used? The definition is the action of widely spreading.
Thank you from us.